Alright, so I did a sports analysis broadcast analysis on my 60 Minutes for the New York Knicks and the Boston game for the game one of the playoffs. Um, which Jeff Van Gundy and another sports announcer announced that game, which I like Jeff Van Gundy. I feel like he says a lot, he has a lot to say, he speaks what's on his mind, and he kind of relates to the crowd or the audience that is watching here. The Six Man Award was brought up just because J.R. Smith won it, or he was in the running, and then he did end up winning it, which was good for him because no one thought he was going to be that team player. And at the beginning of the season, when he came to the Knicks, he wanted to start. So Coach Woodson obviously got him to buy into that, and it worked out well for him. Along with what was in the game, oncoming stories of Coach Woodson on the Knicks not expecting Boston to play that hard, so they obviously in the second half had to switch around their offense and defense, which was interviewed during the game. It was definitely a good game. Jeff Van Gundy, they definitely announced or come into the audience with their storylines and what's being said along with the game, and which is following. They're always talking outside the game, obviously. Social media definitely had a big influence in it. I got it on my Score Center, Twitter, NBA TV. Obviously, I watched it on the online. I was working that day, so during work, I watched it and got to hear a little bit of everything. With what we're doing and what I'm watching, it definitely brings a different side of how I'm looking at sports. As much as intriguing as I am with it and how much I watch it, it's definitely a different storyline now because I don't watch it for fun. I'm looking at sports analysis, how the broadcasters are talking, what are they talking about, how they're buying into the story, or how they're getting us to buy into the story. It was almost like how I was a computer animation student and we had to literally stop being a fan and look at it from a business perspective or look in depth into the movie. So that's what I'm feeling that we're getting into, is we're looking beyond what the normal fan is getting. And it's definitely good. It's a learning experience, and that's something we're going to need once we get into the field. So that being said, thank you, and I'm looking forward to spending more time with these stories. And obviously, the lead-ins were different for me because I've never done that before. It was an experience, and the more and more I'm getting in front of my camera, watching me talk, it is a little awkward sometimes, but I feel like I'm getting a lot more confident with it. But thank you, and I'm looking forward to this week.